Hey, Real Talk Special Community. It's Friday, and we have a special guest speaker again today. My beautiful wife has returned to join the community discussion.
Peace, community, peace. How is everybody out there? Good, good. Let's get it.
So let's talk about food.
Yes.
It's Friday. We're going to talk about family, and we're going to talk about food. The three of the F's.
I'm sorry. Another F. Whatever. Okay, come on.
So earlier today, you took our son, our youngest son, 9-year-old, who, you took him to an annual wellness exam.
Yes.
Okay, and then there were some things that we learned there that has us talking a lot about food today, and a lot of reflection about just the things that we're doing from a routine perspective, etc. And we were just talking about it back and forth, and it's like, wait a minute, hold on, like let's talk. Like let's turn on the camera and let's talk more about this, because I feel like this is a community topic, right? This isn't just a Doris and I topic. This is a community topic. We're just sharing. We're not coming from a place of like, expertise, mastery. We could be doing some things wrong. I'm sure we're doing some things wrong. Matter of fact, we know we're doing some things wrong.
Hey, we're human. That's why. You know it.
Yeah. So we just wanted to talk. Right? So let's share. Kind of just some of our conversation and perspective with the community. So okay. So at the appointment, you texted me and said, "Hey, the doctor said his blood pressure is running high," which is very concerning because he's only 9 years old. So that led to a whole series of conversation with us, and now we're sharing that discussion with you, just raw, authentically. Yeah, that's how you say it. And so here we are. So okay. So we talked about. So first, not only was the blood pressure high, but he's had a lot. I would say, we would both say that he's a healthy child, but he's also gained. What would you say, more weight than in the last year, or maybe even in the last couple of years than expected?
More than expected, yes. Because I think that as kids grow, there's a certain amount of weight that they are already going to gain, just by simply being kids. But I think over this past year, I think he's gained more than what I would have wanted him to. So, yeah.
Okay. So high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And maybe more weight gain than expected.
Than last year, than all the years put together.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, I would say he's still a pretty healthy child, I would say. He's pretty active.
Yes, he runs. He doesn't give up on anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you were telling the doctor that, hey, he goes outside, he's with us, throwing a football around, he's in the trampoline, he's outside riding a scooter, he plays basketball 2 times a week, maybe for 4 hours. He's he does
boxing. Yeah. He does all that. He's a typical kid.
Very active kid, and yet we're talking about high blood pressure and a little bit of weight, on the heavier side.
Mm-hmm.
And so you came home, we started talking, and what did you say? You said we're flipping a switch or something like that. But I forgot. What did you kind of made a commitment to, like, turning things around and evaluating like what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. Now. We had it just for me to talk to the doctor, and for her, I'm telling her these things, and I told her, we eat out much more than I would want us to, but we're a busy family. So the things that we're eating, it's not fried chicken, it's not fried this, fried that. We're eating salmon and broccoli and, occasional, for him, tater tots, right? So the doctor asked me, she said, "Oh, that sounds like you're doing everything right." She says, "Look up this particular restaurant, look up their nutritional information." So I did. The salmon was okay for a kid-sized portion. But when we looked at the tater tots, the sodium, the amount of sodium in there was crazy. It was bonkers. I'm like, why do we do this to our children? And what I got from the doctor also is that she says that since the pandemic, a lot of the packaging companies, the food companies, have put a lot of preservatives into their foods. And that includes the foods on the shelves because of the pandemic, a lot of the food has been sitting or it's not going as fast as it was in the past. Not to mention everything has gone up, so those things are sitting on the shelves a lot longer. So they put more preservatives in there to make it last longer. What is this doing to our kids? Is giving our kids, and my kid is not the only one that she's seen with something like this, and it's alarming. It's crazy. For me, he has an excellent doctor. She reassures, she like, I know you're doing everything. You guys are doing everything that you can, and I'm not bashing you. I want to give you this information, and I received all of that information because we thought that by him eating salmon and broccoli, we're doing something good by him, but that's a lot of sodium in there. And not to mention, babe, even when I looked up the sodium content in the salmon that we eat,
it's pretty up there.
I'm not eating it anymore.
So I mean, okay, look, it's not a surprise. It's nothing new that eating out, while it may taste good, is not the best. We know is higher in sodium than the things that we would make at home.
Oh my gosh!
But I think we were a little bit surprised by the amount.
Absolutely.
And it's not something that I guess you don't think about all the time. I think the country has, I want to say, like at the federal level, so there was a mandate, right, around like the nutrition facts, exposing how many calories, and making sure that all the nutrition facts were very readily at customers.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Readily available for customers to look at, but a lot of times that would just be for calorie count, but not necessarily for other stuff like sodium and how much that is in there. So basically what you're saying though is that what Dr. Davis said, and I mean, even the sodium, so stuff like tater tots, we know those are going to be packed with sodium, right? For them to taste any kind of good.
Yeah. I mean, the fried potatoes, I just didn't imagine that it would be that much sodium in it. Honestly didn't.
Portion sizes are fine, but
the portion sizes,
the sodium content.
The portion sizes aren't even portion sizes for kids. When we eat there, we do takeout from there. I do the kids meal, and not just because it's cheap, but the portion sizes are less, but there's still portion sizes for adults. Too much. It's still too much, I think, for kids.
Yeah.
So
did she say whether or not there was a correlation between the higher sodium and the high blood pressure?
I think that's what she was getting at. That's why we looked up sodium. She didn't even really mention anything about the calorie count. We looked solely at the sodium. He eats vegetables. He loves fruit. He eats his chips, but that's occasional. We keep a close eye on what he takes in. So he's very picky. His favorite potato chip is barbecue chips. And of course, we think that it's a lot of sodium in it.
Yeah, we know those are. Yeah. I think the point is that, two things come to my mind. One, we're going to this restaurant in particular that we were talking about, which I'm not going to say the name. We love to eat there.
Absolutely,
it's not a bad place, and they're not doing anything different than any other restaurant in the industry is doing. It's just where things are, at least in the U.S. here. But one thing is even though we think we are giving our kids a healthier option, right? Look at, okay, instead of going to fast food chain here, fast food chain there, we're going to take you to a fine establishment, fine dining establishment, and give them salmon, broccoli, and a potato.
Yeah. Sometimes mac and cheese.
Right.
Occasionally.
And so we're thinking, okay, that beats the alternatives, right? That beats the pizzas and the name your burger joint of choice, etc. Or even a deli, right? We're thinking, this would beat that because of the bread and things of that nature. So we're thinking that we're doing right by him,
right?
By the items themselves. Salmon is fish. Fish is better for you, depending on what your dietary preferences are. Of course, broccoli, is a vegetable.
Now, just in case you're wondering, we don't eat a lot of beef. We do not.
Yeah, don't eat a lot of beef. More chicken.
Fish.
More fish than anything. Fish and chicken is what we mostly eat. But that's one. So we were thinking that just by we're choosing healthier options for our kids, and we're giving them things that sound better. They sound better than the alternatives, but he's sitting up here 9 years old at an annual wellness checkup with high blood pressure. And so, something's off, something's not adding up.
Yeah.
And then the second thought that came to my mind, which I think my first response to you when you were texting me at the doctor's office was, we always say, well, we ate that when we were a kid. We had the Happy Meal, we did this, we ate Subway like crazy when it first came out, this and the other, or whatever the place is. And the thought is that the food that we have now, it's not the same food that we had, you and I had growing up.
Right. It's not.
She was born late 70s, I was born early 80s. And
don't try to do the math.
Yeah, late and early, that's all you got to know. But and so we grew up in a time where, you could say a lot of things, about the stuff that we ate, especially both her and I didn't grow up, particularly well off. Right? You would say even maybe some levels of poverty, but
absolutely.
Even with that, right? Growing up eating whatever, bologna sandwiches, ham sandwiches, salami, whatever, I would still argue that the stuff that people didn't find popular or good to eat then were probably, I don't know, but I want to say it was probably healthier than the foods that we're eating today.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned that the doctor said since COVID, the amount of
preservatives
and other things in our foods have gone up, and it's probably because of a supply and demand thing.
It is. Think about the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, a lot of the ships that brought over supplies for companies or restaurants or whatever, we wasn't getting it. It was deadlocked. Things are going bad while ships are sitting in the ocean or whatever. So, I don't think anyone has ever, to my knowledge, I don't think a lot of people think about that. Like during the pandemic, we for real didn't get a lot of foods. A lot of that stuff went bad. And so now, what are we doing? Are they putting in?
No, what are they doing?
Yeah, what are they doing? They are very much putting more preservatives into everything. So it's when you think about it, it's a lot to take in because you want your kids to be healthy. You want them to grow up with the best. But what we think is the best when we were growing up may not be the same for them. Like what we're talking about now, eating out. I'm not going to say just fast food. I'm going to say eating out. So it puts pressure. I don't even want to say pressure. I want to say it puts a lot on us to be able um, to put out fresh meals at home. So that means that we have to sacrifice some things. Uh, for me, I have to just start pre-prepping. We got to prep to make sure that every meal that we have is fresh. It comes from me and me only, and we got to stay on top of it. That's the gist of it.
I
That's what I
mean,
think of.
even that might not be
Well, yeah,
the
because of the
silver bullet,
preservatives.
right? And that's where I think the restaurants, and so us in the restaurants, I think, are I want to say victims in common of the stuff that's sitting on shelves, right? They have to cook the food, we have to cook the food, right? Either way, someone has to cook the food. Obviously, much better when we do it. We know what we're putting in it. Like we can go and source things that we know don't have the things that we know are bad, right? Whereas some restaurants don't care, like MSG, for example, right? A lot of restaurants are still putting MSG in their foods, even though we know what that does. So yes, so from that perspective, of course, that when we do it, it's better because I don't know, it's like we're eating for health and vitality, right? Or should I say, well, yes, eating for those things, but we're making food, right, for our family with that in mind of health and vitality, whereas restaurants are making food to make money.
Right, and that's the distinction that we have to make sure we keep in mind when we're moving forward. Eating for vitality, not just to eat. But I mean, this hit us. It just knocked us on the back of our heads. But we've been discussing this for quite some time about juicing and about prepping our foods ahead of time. So this right here kind of kicks us into high gear to be able to do it, because what's going to happen, what should happen, is that we change a lot of things for our son, for us also, and then we take him back to the doctor where she checks his blood pressure again. And I think that making these changes is going to help dramatically. I mean, it'll help us too. I don't have a problem with high blood pressure. It runs in my family. Sure, it runs in your family as well. But we understand what it takes to be able to overcome it. So
Yeah.
we
And
got him.
and this victim and common thing, I mean, what I mean more about that is, regardless of whether we're making the food or they're making the food, even if we are choosing the things that are better, don't have MSG in them and things like that, you still have the potential of running into, again, the things that Dr. Davis said, which is more companies are choosing to put not necessarily more harmful, but maybe just more. It could be, I don't know what all the facts are about it.
Yeah, she says putting more preservatives in there
for longer shelf life, because people went so crazy and I'm not gonna say people went crazy. I think some of that's true with certain things, in terms of overbuying things, but also like Boris just said, there were things that were outside of our control during that time as well, during the pandemic, where certain supply chains were just severely interrupted. We couldn't even get the product because the container ships were shut down, or people on the crew had COVID. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of things there, but fundamentally, we're on the other side of the supply and demand problem. Like we were just at the bike shop the other day, last week, and I remember we had to pay like a lot of money for a bike that we probably would never have paid just to get a bike during that time, because we were trying to find ways to stay active and do different things. And now we were asking the bike shop, because they were, of course, pretty busy back then. A lot of bike shops were. So we were asking the owners, hey, how's business going now compared to back then? And I think he says the business is going fine, a lot of service business, but man, they have way more bikes than they could ever sell, right?
Yeah. I remember
So
going there during that time, and it was not a lot of bikes inside the store.
yeah,
Now they're everywhere.
yeah. So now you have the same thing, with food, and the stuff that's sitting on the shelves, stuff is spoiling, and because people don't want to lose the money, they're putting stuff more,
Longer
this
shelf
is a
life.
topic that
Yeah.
deserves more research.
Yeah.
We heard this from our doctor today, so not saying that this is a fact, or um, you know don't take us to the bank on this, or know what type of preservatives, is. We're literally just coming from the doctor and just talking and just responding on kind of the discussions that kind of led within our own house and household for our family, and just wanted to share. So like you said, we're definitely thinking about, I mean, we're already, that's the problem, right? So we're already, like, we're not a family that eats out like 4 or 5 nights a week.
Right.
We're cooking most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we eat,
Your normal
twice,
stuff.
once or
Yeah.
twice a week, and we're being very picky with our foods that we're choosing to eat. When we go out to buy food, we're thinking we're getting good stuff, and that's the concerning part, is even when we go out, we're making, we're thinking that we're making great choices, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter if you choose to get that beef burger, or you choose to get the salmon. It doesn't even matter.
The tuna poke bowl,
Yes.
which is supposed to be super healthy. It doesn't matter. It can be packed with sodium nitrates and
Exactly.
things of that nature. That's just not good. That could elevate, levels of cholesterol, blood pressure.
And I know the other thing that we talked about too is when the older two kids were smaller, it was a little bit more easier to influence them to eat at home because they were younger. It's like, okay, whatever mommy cooks, that's what we're gonna have, and there was no pushback. But as the children got older, they want to do what they see their friends do, or so that's one of the other issues that you run into as well. But at the end of the day, you eat what I cook. So we have to start pushing that more. And don't get me wrong, you have to let a kid be a kid, and I understand that, but to a certain extent. For us, I think we'll go back to doing what we usually do, is once a week on a weekend, we'll probably go out to eat something, or one meal for dinner or something like that. But I'm thinking. So then that's one thing. And then the other thing is that our son plays basketball, and I'm not sure if he's going to be traveling with basketball during the fall and winter. And if that is the case, guess what? He's going to be away. They need to eat.
They're going to be doing the team Subway meals, and so that's the thing. It's unless we decide to pack a lunch for him, but he's not gonna. This
is our oldest son. This is
sorry. Yeah, we did shift gears.
Yeah, we did.
Talking about our 14-year-old now.
Yeah.
But I guess the point that we've kind of shifted to is examining, like, the whole ecosystem, of how how the family is eating, what the circumstances are. It's what what are we buying from the stores? How often we're preparing stuff to be able to cook, because a lot of times, I mean, let's just face it, I think a lot of people probably prefer to cook at home, but what stops them is time.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here thinking, like, we had a irregular week, because he has high blood pressure, he fasted, hadn't eaten anything since last night.
And the only thing that he ate last night was 2 slices of pizza.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Well, so 2 nights in a row of eating out. And then here's the thing. That is very irregular for us, especially during the middle of the week. Although it's still summer, it's the last week in summer. It's an irregular week for sure. But to eat like,
eat salmon. I heard that.
Yes, salmon. What we think is healthy, salmon, broccoli, etc., and then pizza. And of course, the pizza is not healthy, but But here's the thing. I don't know. All the other meals during the day?
I mean, he does. He loves.
No, like before. So
you mean like for lunch and all of that? Lunch, he just had his.
But those days. So we ate at home.
Yeah, we ate at home.
So 2 nights, pizza and salmon one night. And then the next morning, high blood pressure.
Right, the doctor. And excuse me, I didn't even think about that because I was like, listen, your appointment is early. Let's not eat anything just in case the doctor needs to take your blood. That was just a ploy for me so that he wouldn't eat, so we can just go to the doctor and get all that stuff taken. So that right there, it was unplanned, but I guess it was needed because for them to take his blood pressure and it to be where it is, what if he would have eaten something by the end?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Could have been a little bit more elevated. Don't know. The point is that it's 2 meals. Like it's 2 meals that has this, at least from what we see, has his blood pressure elevated. So it doesn't, you're saying, oh, you can eat out. Yeah, for sure, right? But maybe, I don't know, right? Maybe not as much in today's climate. If it is true, if there is like a, kind of an industry-wide motion to increase the amount and the variety of different preservatives they're putting in food, then maybe then it's time. If they are changing, then we have to make changes.
I agree.
And we have to take more inventory of, like I said, the different ways that we're eating. And so going back to the the basketball trip example, okay, hey, do you want to be included on the team food order? No. The answer might have to shift to no. Our son might not like that because of the peer pressure and doing what you want to.
He wants to be like everybody else.
Yeah, you want to emulate others and stuff, and but we gotta not care about that, right? Like, what's the alternative, right? You go and you eat whatever, and let's just say they have a couple games a week, they're eating out or doing whatever, McDonald's, Subway, whatever, and then we go to they don't have to go and sit with their primary care doctor to explain, okay, well, what are you eating, and why are you eating this, and maybe you should change things up, etc.
Yeah, and again, not for our oldest son, but for the youngest son, I think.
Well, we don't know. We're saying our youngest son, but
he has his appointment coming up next month, so we'll see how that goes.
We'll see. Our older son, our 14-year-old, is definitely more self-activated. He's definitely more active. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Of course, we probably won't. We won't be doing the same things.
No.
If it's next month, then we won't even. We're going to be active and make some changes before then, so we won't even get a chance to see what the similar eating patterns, and having eaten out 2 times during the week, we won't even get the opportunity to evaluate that the same for him, because we like to take action when we see something wrong. We like to move. We like to make corrections, and so that's kind of where we are right now. Is we're thinking about what steps do we need to take to really get more control over, I guess be more aware, more aware of the things, if there are more preservatives in the food supply, how do we know that? And then if that's the case, okay, cool, then what steps do we take to kind of get around that? What things do we do we avoid? Because again, we can cook stuff, but we still have to use seasonings and herbs and things of that nature, right?
Most of the seasonings I do use doesn't have salt in them, but I salt myself. So use more herbs than I do salted seasonings. So that's one thing that I do.
Okay.
So yeah. The other thing is that we talked about preservatives in shelf food. I mean, I guess, foods that's on the shelf. One of the things is the tuna fish. I love tuna fish. Our son loves tuna fish. And so I have to be careful with the tuna fish also because it's canned. It has preservatives in it too. So I got to go back to the drawing board and figure out menus or things, healthier options for my family, our family. So I'm a person that loves doing lists and menus. I like to try to stay on task with everything. I want to know when I'm going to do it before I do it. So I try to always stay on task. So going forward, I think for me, there's going to have to be a day where it's a prep day. There's sacrifices that have to be made. So, it is what it is. We got to do what's right for our children, for our family.
I thought that was a really good tip on getting less of the spices and seasonings that have salt in them already. And like you said, using more herbs and stuff, and just getting salt just by itself. Better, like higher grade salt, not table salt.
No, absolutely not.
You can do the Himalayan salt.
Celtic salt. You can do
Celtic
that.
salt.
Kosher
salt, yeah. So I thought that was a good tip to share with the community. And then also, I would say also being more aware just in general of like
the nutritional information at all the restaurants. I mean, it's information, whether you choose to use it or not, it's going to be up to us. We can look and see, okay, he wants this cheeseburger. Let's see how many calories, I'm sorry, how much sodium is in it. Off the top, we already know there's going to be a lot of sodium in it. And what do? You don't have time to cook. So what do? You're out, we're traveling, and the only thing that we can do is to eat out. What do you do?
Yeah.
Do you drink more water? We need to look into, do you drink more water, try to flush it? H3O?
I don't know. Because you can make intelligent decisions about, let's just take burgers, for example. I mean, we like burgers, but we don't eat a lot of beef.
Right.
But now it's like, okay, my biggest thing, because our sons definitely love eating burgers, is got to use grass-fed beef now. Right.
Definitely.
You got to use grass-fed beef. I'm not telling you that you can't have burgers, but I am saying I'm done spending money on,
grade F beef.
Yeah, I'll just say that. We don't even have to run through the Rolodex of different burger joints, but yeah. So I like to, go with the, so anyway, yes, the companies that do grass-fed beef, right? That's something else. So when we're out, like you said, it's just about trying to choose the better of the options that are out there, right? And then being more, even in a home setting, right? Being more aware of, I guess, the whole ecosystem, the whole supply chain, the whole sequence of things that go into the things that you're drinking and that you're eating. I did a video, I don't know, a month or so ago about plastics and so we're sitting here, we're looking at the stuff that we drink out of. We're moving more into glasses and metals, not plastics.
Plates. No plates. Not the plastic ones. We're trying.
And the thing with the plastic, people will say, well, there's food grade plastic. Yes, there's food grade plastic, right? But again, I'll pop the link to that video somewhere up here. But there's research that says that no plastic is 100%, 100% may be a little bit extreme, but there's no plastic that is not susceptible to leaching out toxins when it's heated, right? So even if you go and get, I mean, again, complete ecosystem, tea bags, right? We love drinking tea. Tea bags are made out of what? I think it's some kind of plastics in there. I might.
You told me that, and I was
there's some
surprised. I thought maybe it was like a type of
cloth or
cloth.
something like
Yeah.
that. I believe there's some plastics that go into the tea bag themselves. Fact check me on that, please. But if you have like this habit of, say you got your glass mug, then you even if the tea bag is fine, or you're not using a tea bag, you're using a metal strainer, you're doing like real tea,
loose tea,
loose
tea, herbal tea.
Yeah. So if you're doing all that, and then all of a sudden you warm it up, it's boiling hot, you steep in it, and then you go out and get a plastic spoon to mix it up.
He called me out on that one.
Just saying, to mix it up, to sweeten it, whatever you want to put in there. I'm like, be careful with that, because again, that, heat, right? And I don't know what the temperature is. Is it high heat? Is it just heat? But plastics, they're not very safe. We know about the microwave. Our son last night, when he was trying to warm up the pizza, was, hey, I was trying to warm it up in the microwave. I said, let's not do that. Let's not put it in the microwave. Let's put it in the toaster oven. So little stuff like that, it's just little movements, drinking more out of glass containers, metal,
no plastic water bottles.
Definitely no plastic water bottles. Even like the water bottles that you send your kids to school with, or send them to their activities with after school. Yeah, try to do metal there as well. Let's see. What else? I mean, because you hear about the heavy metals a lot in the foods that people are eating, or just in their body, in their bloodstream. We could go on and probably do a whole other segment on that.
We are a work in progress. So what we know, we'll share with you guys, with the community, and maybe I'll even get online, perhaps, maybe, and share a few of my recipes.
Ooh, I like that. A Cooking with Doris series. I like
perhaps, that. So we'll see. I honestly want to be able to turn everything around for our son and for the entire family. And I think the best way to do that is to start with home and with the foods that we cook. So
I think she is trying to get us out of here. So that being said, we'll wrap it up. Again, just wanted to share some raw talk. We don't have any points written down or anything like that. Just don't even have all the thoughts together. We're just having an authentic conversation about a doctor visit that our 9-year-old had today, and it was just kind of coming at it with just some of the things that we talked about, some of the things that we have been learning and talking about since before that even as well.
Well, what's up? How many inches did he grow from last year?
2.5.
2.5 inches. Now, it's rapid growth. Now, I would just wanted to make sure that we know that he is a growing boy. Like 2 inches. He's 9 years old, and he's what, 4? What did I say? 4.
He's almost 4'10".
Almost 4'10". So, yeah, got to keep it all healthy.
Yeah,
he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's a big kid. Not overweight. I would say he's pretty solid. Pretty solid. Our 14-year-old is he's getting up there as well. He's 6'1" now. Yeah. So we are a bigger family. I'm 6'2" myself, and so the boys are projecting to be 6'4",
6'4".
6'5",
Mhm.
somewhere in
Yeah.
there. So we're trying also not to kind of over rotate on all this today, but it's definitely something that made us like, okay, what's going on, right? No parent ever wants to go to the doctor and say,
Absolutely
hey,
not.
your 9-year-old has high blood pressure. So even if that's temporary, like it causes us to really take stock of what we're doing and evaluate our routines like all up, just to make sure there's not anything that we could be doing better, because obviously their health and wellness and vitality is of utmost importance to us, obviously, as well as ourselves and to each other, for each
Right.
other. So
Yeah, I agree.
okay, any other alibis?
Alibis? What do you mean?
Okay,
We got this. We got this.
you're out of ammo. No more hidden topics.
I'm glad to get it off my chest. And I'm glad to do it with you guys. So.
All right, guys, it's been real. And thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this conversation. It's just authenticity, that is. That was it for this episode of Real Talk Spectrum. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you.